Hi fellow traders, I'm coming to you a little bit early today. I'm shutting it down. Historically, or I guess this past quarter, Thursday has been my red day. You know, every week it seems like Thursday is always red. Probably was a mental thing because I would look at where I was up to Wednesday and I would say, hey, I could have a $1,500 week, or I could have a $2,500 week if I finish Thursday and Friday strong. And I think it gets into my head and I take a little bit more risk on Thursday and it kind of dooms me. So I think I've got that problem solved. And then having two red days, you know, a little red day on Tuesday, a little bit larger red day yesterday, which we're going to talk about. We're going to go over my trades from yesterday and today. So it should be a pretty detailed recap of everything I've done the last 2 days and the emotional roller coaster that I was on as well. So yesterday, of course, we started the 12 days before Christmas, and I'm giving out a present to my members through these 12 days. And the first member to open a present yesterday was Zachary Drake. He was a monthly subscriber, and he opened the present, and it was a free year subscription for 2018 to the community. So no restrictions. You know, you get everything for a whole year. That's your present from me to you. So if you didn't hear on the previous video, for the 12 days of Christmas, now I'm starting the 12 days before Christmas. Some people start on Christmas Day. I love Christmas. I can't wait. You know, I enjoy Christmas. So I started early. So today is the 11th day before Christmas, and I'm looking at one quarterly subscriber, and they're gonna get a free yearly subscription for 2018 as well. Now, if you guys don't get anything, don't be discouraged. This is just day 2. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you again. And if you're a quarterly member, you have a real good chance of opening a present throughout, you know, these next 2 weeks. So don't be discouraged if your name doesn't come out today. So the person who opens the present today is my man Das. So I haven't told him in the room yet. So as soon as I finish this video, you know, I'll be letting him know, because I believe he is still in there. Yep, still in there. So I'll be letting him know here in a minute. So tomorrow I'm going to be pulling from the yearly subscribers. And now remember, if you canceled your recurring subscription, your name is not in the pot. Because if you canceled it, that means, to me, that tells me you're moving on. So why waste a membership on somebody that doesn't plan on staying? I'd rather have it to somebody who has every intention of hanging out and trusting the process. So that's how that works. If you canceled your subscription and it wasn't because you didn't want to stay anymore, that you were ready to go, then email me and, you know, we can work that out. But just remember, if you're a monthly subscriber and you canceled your monthly recurring subscription, you're not in. If you're a quarterly and you canceled it, you're not in. If you're yearly and you canceled it, you're not in. It's just like The Rock said in that movie, central intelligence. You know, either if you're in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. And it's just as simple as that. I like things simple. All right, so on Christmas Day, somebody will open up a big Christmas present. And this is the second clue. So here's a nice picture. If you saw the first clue the other day, I tweeted out this is the second clue. Now they're going to be pretty vague for the first week or so. And then, you know, after the first week, you should start you should be on the verge of figuring out what it is. But if not, you'll just have to wait until Christmas Day. All right, so yesterday, this was indescribable. And it all started with a bad trade. That's where it all started. You know, when I see price action like this was nice price action. The last candle prior to open, we had this. Now, this is a pretty wicked candle. Oftentimes we see this at the open. But this was the 5-minute candle prior to open. At the open, we had this crazy candle. So common sense usually tells me, okay, I do not need to trade this stock yet. I need to wait for it to settle down and kind of pick a trend here. But, you know, I had to take a trade. I was leaving early to go to an appointment, so I was going to miss, you know, from about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And I wanted to get a trade off early so I could get in and out and I won't have to worry about it. And I think that got me into trying to rush and get in this trade. Now, here is the 5-minute opening range low. I got some big slippage trying to get in here. When I got in, as soon as I got in, it started to pull back. Okay, it opened right on this level. So I thought we were gonna, well, I was hoping as well. We all know hope is not a tactic, but I was thinking this was gonna sell back off. So I went ahead and added, and I was in full size. Now, this is right on the opening range low, but we dipped down a little bit, got bought right back up. Went up and then closed here, but on the way up, it took me out. You know, I had to stop out. So I said, okay, I'll wait. You know, so this candle opened lower, made a lower high, made a lower low. So this candle opens right here. It runs up and we start to sell off. Okay, I waited until we got below this candle and I got in. But this level here killed us. This was the 5-minute opening range low as it was set on my Thinkorswim platform. Now, I've said in the past, you know, the study on the Thinkorswim that sets the 5-minute opening range doesn't always go off of the first 5-minute candle. Sometimes it'll go off the candle 5 minutes prior to the open. And whenever it does, 9 times out of 10, it's right. And this is wrong. You know, what I do is wrong. What it does is right. So usually I've been deferring to the Thinkorswim study to give me the ideal opening range to trade off of. But I didn't do it here again. I was rushing, wanting to get in the trade. So I got in, added, stopped out here, got in, and ended up stopping right here. You know, I did get a couple of, I mean, not even a couple of dollars, probably paid for the commissions on this last trade. But took a $232 loss. okay, what I should have done was just shut this thing down and walk away. You know, that would have been the smartest thing to do. You know, shut it down and then just walk away. Well, me and my bright self decided to, let's trade mobile. Okay, I want to trade mobile. I don't want to mess up. You know, I can't sit here with this red on my mind. Let's trade mobile. So I said, okay. And, you know, I gave it a shot. And I traded LITE. And I couldn't really see the chart. You know, because I had traded this earlier and took a hit on it, I decided to trade it, you know, while I was, you know, doing what I was doing. I thought this had the best chance of making a trade. But this really, really had me messed up. I couldn't see the daily chart. I didn't know where any levels were. I was just clicking blind. And I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. I didn't realize how much money I was losing. I just kept trying to play with this thing. Kept trying to get it to do what I wanted it to do. Try to get my, you know, the mobile platform to work. The signal was bad. The internet was bad. You know, waiting for my appointment. Everything was just bad. And yet I just let stuff ride. And it just completely messed me up. Just completely messed me up. Now, I had the right idea here when I left. But just not, I mean, it was just bad. It was just an out-of-body experience. And, you know, I was upset with myself. And you can see, at this point, I had a $600 loss, which I had no idea I was doing. You know, I had, 12 tickets? This was crazy. And I had this $232 loss. So I'm just sitting there. You know, I come back and I'm just sitting there and I'm like numb because I'm in the hole. I didn't know how much I was in the hole, but I knew I was in the hole pretty good. At the time, I never looked at my P&L, so I never really knew what hole I had dug, which is good because a lot of times when you look at that, you tend to, you know, do silly stuff even more. So, you know, I kind of stayed out of that, just tried to disconnect from even wanting to look to see where I was. So I was working, you know, I've been watching this FNSR, and it shot way up on news that Apple was buying a stake in it or something. Something just didn't sound right about the news. But I was expecting to get a pullback. I was expecting something to come out that was going to either drive it up or drive it down. And because we couldn't push and we started hanging on VWAP, I felt this would be a short. So I got in, I took it short, and, you know, I was holding on to it, ended up getting stopped out. So this was one of the trades I took while I was sitting at the office, and then it starts to come down. So here I got back, I guess right after 1:30 is when I got back. Let me see, when did I get out of? Yeah, right here is when I got back, because this is where I took this trade off. Because when I got back, I saw that this was was still going, and I'm like, this is a long, so I shouldn't be short. And I took it off there. And here we were sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden, this Benzinga Charlie blurts out, you know, that Apple denied, you know, that any money changed hands or whatever it was. I can't even remember the news story, but I knew it was bad, and we caught it. I mean, we caught it right in the nick of time. Had this huge move down. I covered half here, and I was looking to get all the way down to this level. I felt we could get all the way back here. So when we pulled back and we started to move back up, I'm like, I need to go ahead and take the rest of this off and lock in, because this was solid. And I was in 1,000 shares. You know, so $24 stock, I could get in a little bit heavy on this, because I was expecting a huge flush and possibly a $1,200 to $1,500 trade. That's what was in my mind. But I only got, you know, a little over half of that. And once we rejected, I got back in and kind of held through all of this, took a piece off here, and then eventually took the rest of it off here. So this got me, you know, I got $833 on this. After everything was said and done, my net P&L, my gross P&L, I was down $5.50. But with commissions and fees from all of that clicking I did, ended up minus 160.62. So this was a palatable loss. I could deal with this versus this. You know, I don't even know how much this was. You know, I'm assuming this was close to $1,000 at one point. And yes, I have a max loss per day. And yes, I knew that I had blown that out of the water. But I had to, in my mind and in my head, I had to redeem myself. I had to prove to myself that I hadn't lost my mind and that I am still the person and the trader that I'd always been. So, you know, this turned out to be a very good trade. The best I've done, you know, the best trade I've had in a good while, monetary wise, because, you know, I jumped in, well, not with both feet, because I actually could have got 2,000 shares of this, but I took 1,000 and we were good to go. So now that brings us to this morning. Jumped in FNSR again, right out of the gate. 5-minute opening range breakdown. Here's a 5-minute opening range. This candle opened, ran up, sold off, and once we started clipping this opening range, I got in. The candle, now trades rarely go your way as soon as you get in. Even if you wait for the best setup, the best confirmation, it doesn't matter. Okay, it rarely goes your way once you get in. You usually have to sit through a storm, which is another reason why I don't watch my P&L. But I got in, and here this opened up here. It gapped open because it closed here. It opened all the way up here. We ran up to the VWAP, and then we sold off. Still couldn't close below this opening range low. And you can see this 5-minute opening range low and the high. If you go back and back test it, you'll see how significant this level is right now. It's probably not going to be that way forever, but over the last 8 months or so, this has been a solid level. And a lot of things have played off the 20 and off the 5-minute opening range. So I got it. We got this huge move down. Again, I'm expecting this thing to wash. So I got half the move. I took some profit, and we started recovering here, ended up making a higher high, higher low. I went ahead and took this off. And we went back up and tested VWAP. But I was not getting in this until we got below this 2330. And this was a solid level yesterday. So I waited until we got below it, got in. This candle opened, pushed up a little bit. It's kind of an indecision candle. This candle opened, pushed up a little bit, sold off. And then we started getting bought up. But I hadn't taken profit, so I'm still in the trade waiting for it to work. Then finally we get a rollover here. I take profit right here on this level. And was looking to get some down through here. But we just kind of got held up and ended up, stopping me out here once we claimed the 9. So that's what I did today. You can see 325.45. Real nice opening trade. Now the next trade I took was Juno. This was kind of a secondary trade. You can see this wasn't on our gap scan because this technically wasn't a gap. But we did open and had a 5-minute opening range close, and it was below on this red to green line, or in this case green to red. So this candle tried to push it. Here's the opening range low here. This candle pushed up to the opening range. You could easily get in here, and this was a solid move down. So this hit our reversal scan. So I was looking at it, and I'm like, hey, this could be a potential. This could be a potential continuation trade. Get a nice continuation on this. And I did. It was a little bit choppier than I had anticipated at first, but we had a nice move down. I took some off here at 44.75, and then got stopped out on the rest up here around 45.17. But locked in some nice profit on it. Not what I wanted. Only 87.88. Not what I wanted. I wanted twice as much, but just couldn't squeeze it out today. So not a bad day today. Yesterday was a challenging day. I think I overcame that pretty good. And I think that's the value that I bring to this industry. Not many people are going to share their platform and let you watch them go in and out of trades. Let you watch them make mistakes and fumble stuff up sometimes. Not many people are comfortable, allowing you to do that. And that is exactly what I do every day. I'm trying to teach you the skill that you need to develop, the foundation you need to develop so that you can be profitable. And without that, it's going to be very difficult for you to get to the next level. So I've got a nice group of traders that are focused on hitting 2018 running. We're in our mentor sessions. We're going over their charts, looking at their trades, talking about what they're thinking as they're taking the trade. It's really an exciting time, and it's taken a lot of my time in the afternoons and through the evenings. So sometimes I don't get to do the recap video until late. But I'd rather make sure that my traders get everything they need before I continue on. So if you want to get in touch with me, ed@averagejoetrader.com. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. But I am on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm starting to post more content there. It used to be exclusively Twitter, but I'm slowly integrating everything else. So I'm always available to talk to you if you want. I don't have a problem chatting. It's my way of doing these things. It's my way of teaching and my way of being a support. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Don't risk it. If it's not an A+ setup, just don't risk it. It's not worth it. So you guys take it easy, and I will see you tomorrow.